Okay, thank you for joining us. I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Lily Griffin. I'm the marketing manager for BindTuning. We are a Microsoft Gold partner, one of the leading providers of modern workplace solutions, working with over 100 partners worldwide. Today, we are here to help you prepare for the evolving landscape in the K through 12 education. We are excited to have Vania Neto and Ovi Barceló from Microsoft Education join us to speak about the investment Microsoft has made in K through 12 and about education continuity and the possibilities available using Microsoft Teams. Afterwards, BindTuning CEO Beatriz Oliveira will demonstrate how to unleash the potentials of teams using BindTuning templates for education. We'll have a Q&A at the end, so feel free at any point to ask questions using the chat window on your right. So let me just give a brief introduction, speaking to you as a parent. Regardless of where you are in the world, we can all agree on one thing. Education in the last few months has been challenging, and many of us have stepped up in amazing ways to continue to educate our children. Children are learning remotely at home with parents working alongside them. Teachers and educators are pulling together to keep our kids engaged. And while we want it all to go back to normal, education systems have been forever changed. With uncertainty ahead for the coming school year, we've asked the experts at Microsoft to help us understand how to navigate the new normal and the use of Microsoft Teams. So at this point, I would like to introduce our special guests. Vania Neto is the Senior Product Marketing Manager at Microsoft Education in Western Europe, and Ovi Barceló is a former teacher now working as a solution specialist for Microsoft Education, also in Western Europe. Thank you for joining us. Vania?
Hi. Hi, everyone, and thanks for having me today. Thanks for Beatriz and also Lily for the warm welcome. I have, it's kind of a gift to be working in education for almost 10 years at Microsoft, and especially in these challenging times. And this is something we've seen that how important it is to be a tough leader, a thought leader in the last decades for education. And I think it all came up in moments of crisis is when you see that the work that you do is more relevant. So I normally joke inside Microsoft that education is always been an area where Microsoft has put a lot of effort and where we have invested deeply in the last years. But even nonetheless, internally, it seemed like it's a small business, etc. But how important it is, and we all seen in all houses around the world that education is like now the top one priority, or probably top two after health. And so this is something is very fulfilling. And we are, at least I am very proud, I'm sure Avi and all my colleagues agree, we are very proud to work at Microsoft and to have the ability to be able to empower all students around the world. And this is our mission. And that's why we have been investing so much from free learning to our online tools, not only directly to schools and universities, but also to nonprofits that really do a fantastic job in helping those students that are normally not of wealthy backgrounds, to make sure that they also have access to digital skills. They also have access to education in a digital way. And so this is something that we've been working very hard for the last decades, but also in these times of crisis. And what we did, especially in these times of crisis, we just expand what we were already doing, right? So Office 365 and Teams, they were already free for education. What we did is that we expanded even more, and we created a remote learning community that has been there to help the teachers, the parents, the students, the IT staff of universities and of schools to make sure that we are providing the support they need to be able to, transition to remote if they were not yet using any digital tool. More than that, from a strategic perspective, we have also been very involved, as we've always been, with UNESCO, especially in this UNESCO COVID-19 emergency task force that was created. Microsoft is a partner, and we have been helping governments and ministries of education around the world and schools also to empower the teachers and making sure that they all can transition to remote learning in a very as smooth as possible way, right? As you all know, this is unprecedented times. We know that more than ever, being able to make sure that we don't leave anyone behind, that we are enabling inclusive remote learning, because we know that not everyone has the same background, not every student has the same learning capabilities, etc. So we need to make sure that they all have the same opportunities. And for that, we also need to empower the teachers and the IT staff to make sure that they feel confident enough to use digital tools for learning, something that we were already, for a long time, at least 10 years, trying to train the teachers, having teacher communities, etc. And in these times of crisis, it was even more important to already have this community to make sure that they can still continue to have as normal as possible interactions with the students, keep some normality in these times of unprecedented change, and making sure that students can still continue to work, to learn in the better way as possible. And if you see, I would divide this in three main pillars, and the fourth one that enables it all. So the more important thing is that Microsoft is here to help schools wherever they are in their remote learning journey. They may be already just starting. They could not have anything yet on digital for learning, or they could be already using like Teams. They could be power user of Teams. They could be using Zoom, or they could be using Moodle. But the beauty of it all is that they can use Teams as their learning hub. And it's a free solution that really integrates with what they already have, and that can build on and expand as they want to expand. As the more way they feel comfortable using Teams, the more they can expand the capabilities that we have inside Teams. So either just enabling remote learning and for empowering IT staff, but also making sure that all of this platform is building on security, compliance, and compatibility with all the devices that are available, of course, in all the platforms. I can give you some examples. For example, when we're talking about inclusive remote learning, we can give students the possibility of using immersive reader and make sure that they can have a better way to read if they have some dyslexia, for example, or making sure that we can do online quizzes, making sure that we can, for example, turn on captions if they need to follow the classes, etc. So, and all of this also enabling through integration with an existing LMS that the school already has, for example. When we consider empowering teachers and instructors and staff, we have a huge range of online free training and community management on our platform and on our platform for Teams, and also on all of our software and services. So this is something that is really powerful, that either IT or teachers or even students or parents, they can go online and they can find the information that they need at their own pace, and they can get trained online for free. When you think that the schools in this time of change want, of course, to keep as close as they can with their communities and the academic community, they can give parents also the possibility to be a part of this. And this, of course, the parents' participation, especially in K-12, is really mastering. It's very important for the students as well. We also can have, for example, they can learn more about coding through Minecraft for Education Edition, for example. Or a school can host a live event up to 10,000 users if they want to do, for example, a masterclass or a whole hands in the school to give all the parents and all the students at the same time the same information. This is something that we are, building on, and this is a powerful tool, as you can see, to foster this ongoing engagement. As I mentioned before, so the most important thing here, I think, is that Teams integrates with any solution or the majority of the solutions that schools already have, may it be from the learning management systems, Moodle, Canvas, Blackboard, etc., and any platform or device that the schools may be using. And this is fantastic because, in a way, it enables anytime, anywhere learning, and it integrates with third-party solutions like GitHub Education, for example, or others that more and more partners are building on as we move along. And on these times of COVID, we saw it even more. So more and more partners, publishers, etc., are coming to us to integrate with Teams because they also see it as a powerful learning hub. And more than that, and I would say on the basis of all that, is the fact that Teams provide a comprehensive security features that really prevent, I would say, bad actors from accessing your meetings, and this is something that is very important, as we all know. And also the fact that all the, the accessibility features, the connectivity and the integration with third-party apps, as I said, this makes it a very, powerful tool for distance learning, but also to complement any blended learning scenarios that we hope and majority of countries are looking ahead. As the pandemic evolves. But if there is another wave and people really have to go back totally remote again, they are fully prepared for that scenario, or at least more prepared than they were before. Also, this as we normally say, Microsoft runs on trust. We are very, very focused on security. That's why we have 3.5 thousand global security experts. We've invested over $1 million per year in security and research, and we use AI and automation to protect identities, devices, apps, and information inside our platform. And that's why we believe that Office 365 and Teams can be really the most powerful tool when regards to remote learning, but also as a tool to enable digital learning for students.
Thank you very much, and thank you everybody for having me here. As Vanya said, and in the introductions, I'm Moby Barceló. I am the SSP Modern Workplace, which is like the responsible in Western Europe for education solutions and how Teams, Office 365 or Microsoft 365, Windows all are working together to deliver the best experience, the best educational experience. Also, former teacher for 15 years in Spain, where I'm coming from, and I'm going to share. If I am allowed to share, let's see. I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to go straight to the demo. I'm a demo guy. I'm trying to not use slides when I'm talking about the product, because the best thing is to show it, and also could be tricky because this the demo effect can always attack. But I hope that everything behaves normally and I can show you. Okay, so you can see my screen, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah. Cool. So this is Teams for Education. I don't know if you have seen it. I don't know if you have a Teams for your company or you've seen other versions of Teams. I mean, at the end of the day, Teams is the same version for everybody. The only thing is, depending on your organization, it will behave one way or another. If you are in an education organization, you will see this UI, this canvas, right? And the thing is that all our products, they have special people dedicated 100% for education. So what we thought is that having the list of teams, of groups all in one side could be difficult for the students to work on. So we created this view where students can just easily drag and drop their tiles and focus on the courses they want to focus. Okay, so this is the general overview of teams when you're talking about education. Let me show you the overall differences, and the main one is that when you create a team, and I'm going to create it for you now live, Teams is going to behave a little bit different. I can join a team with a code, but it can create a team because I'm here logging as a teacher. And then when I create a team, this that you're going to see now only happens when you have an education environment. You can select what type of teams you want to create. It means you can create a regular teams, you can create a team for your staff, you can create even a professional learning community team, or you can create your class team. I will show you the differences between the 4 of those, but let me show you first how easy it is for a teacher to create a team and start working in the classroom. Just to mention that all the things I'm going to show today are completely free for education. I'm using my browser. It's compatible with any browser in the market. So whatever I'm going to show you, you can have it today in your school. So when you click here to create a class, what happens is that, well, I'm going to name my class here. I'm going to put it, for example, I'm going to call it maths. I can add a description, if not, next. And I can now start inviting the people in the team. This is super easy and also super important. What does it mean? That once I create a team with my students or with my fellow teachers, I don't need to share with them anything again. All the documents we're going to work together, all the apps we are working, all the videos we are creating, all the meetings, everything is already shared in the team. And if you're a teacher, you will have some permissions. If you're a student, you will have others. We should do with example. I can start just typing the name of my students or the group they belong to, and then teams. What I'm going to do is start searching in the Active Directory, which is the database with all the students they are, and then I just need to click on the names to start adding them into my teams. So now, if my fat fingers allow me to select the name of the people, that's the only thing I have to do is click here, and then I can add students or I can add teachers easily. I'm going to skip that part, and now my teams is created, and everything that I need for my classroom now is to start working. So as you see, in just a couple of clicks, every teacher with no experience even in the technology, they can create their own class and start working with their students in the blink of an eye. You see here that even it took, thanks to the artificial intelligence, it took the icon for my math class, and now everything is start to be developed or deployed. But I'm going to show you some examples of real teams working in real time. Okay, so I'm going to get back into my teams, and I'm going to start, for example, with this algebra team that it has already some content in it. Teams, when you start and let me tell you, this is the first reason, let's say, that during this COVID crisis, most of the schools adopted Teams is because of the communication, of the enhanced communication you can have when you're having Teams. But Teams is much more than a communication tool. I'm going to start with the part of the communication because I think it is really powerful, but we're going to start evolving from there. So the first thing you see when you get into the team is that you have this post or chat or whatever you want to call it, where all the conversations, file, task, announcements, everything, the daily work in the classroom is being shown. So here I have my assignments, and so I have this announcements, or even I have some conversations happening from one teacher or the answers of other students, and links and documents and whatever is happening on daily basis in my classroom. This is super powerful tool in the classroom when I can start a conversation and my students and myself as a teacher, we can start collaborating. And this is not only a chat. This is a chat. This is an announcement. This is where I can paste my documents and the documents get stored in the file section automatically, so no document is lost. It is even enhanced with emojis, with memes, with stickers, and then a lot of enhanced communication is there. So if I want to start an announcement or a conversation, the only thing I have to do is add a subject, start my text. Even I can do a one-to-many communication or only a one-way communication, which means that if I want to do an announcement, I can say, okay, nobody can reply, just an announcement, or even I can post it in multiple channels. For teachers, this could be a super helpful tool. Imagine that we are in a school and we want to announce that, I don't know, tomorrow we have a school trip and I have different courses with my different subjects or the different grades I teach in. So I just can select here that I want to post it in different channels and everything is going to post it everywhere I go. Or of course, if I want to make an announcement, I can even make it more attractive with a headline that I can customize with illustrations, images, and so on. What happened, and I tell you as a teacher, what happens with this kind of tools is that the beginning, the communication is from teacher to students. But when the students get more confident, when we empower their voice, the conversation is much more richer. And sometimes a student asks a question and another student replies. And then what we're doing is reinforce that student voice that is super valuable in the classroom. Remember at the beginning that I told you that once you create the environment, you don't need more invitations. You don't need to share anything. Let me tell you an example. Here, have a little button. It is a Meet Now. If I click there, and I'm in a browser, and as I told you, it works in every browser if I allow my browser to have access to Teams. Now I can start a meeting, and I don't need to send another invitation to my students or my fellow teachers because everything is happened in the very same Teams. So if I already added my students there, when I start the meeting, I can start meeting with them with no invitation needed. I can schedule the call. I can do the whole thing. Of course, I can have a better experience with a desktop app, but there's no need of a desktop app. I can start having a meeting with camera, with microphone, sharing my screen, and even I can schedule a meeting starting from the browser. So okay. Good thing about that, and let me turn off my camera here. Very good. A good thing about that, and here I am. All the meetings can be recorded, and you will tell me that this is not a super innovative tool. Of course, that the meetings can be recorded, but one big difference is that the recording of those meetings is going to get stored in Office 365. In other tools or in Skype, for example, just to name one of our tools, when you get the recording, it got stored in your computer. That means that you have a very heavy file that you need to share with your students, and this is difficult. What happens here is when you record your lesson, it's automatically stored in a stream, which is our streaming service. And automatically, this video is stored in the cloud and secured through identity. What does it mean? That only the people in the teams and only the people with identity in my classroom can have access to it. When we're recording a class, we are exposed to share student faces, student voice, student work, and this is very delicate to lose the control of that video. With this system, what we're doing is we're putting the video automatically, and there is no way that the video can leave our environment. And this is only the part of communication. But Teams is much more than that. For example, every team is divided in channels. So we can have different channels for the different topics or the different lessons or whatever the teacher wants to organize. So for example, here we have a homework help. In order not to create noise in the main channel, we can create this homework help. What this means that, hey guys, what do we have today for homework? Hey guys, what are you doing? How are you doing this exercise? Blah, blah. And then the whole team, the whole students are replying for somebody asking a question. So it's not the teacher always the owner of the conversation. So even the students can work themselves, and they get used to a very important thing, which is the communication tools for work. We have a lot of consumer apps or software to communicate. We have WhatsApp, but WhatsApp is a personal thing that can be very handy if you have another way of communicating. But if you have these tools, you can teach your students to gain their digital skills and differentiate what is work related and what is spare time related. But of course, this is not only that, and I don't want to stay here the whole time. Let me show you what are the other features that is happening in that are happening in Teams. The second tab we have here is files. All the files that are in any conversation are stored in Teams. So here you have control of all the documents we have in our class, which means that everybody can start working together, can start collaborating without even leaving the environment, which means that if I am working here with a Machu Picchu document without leaving the environment and paying attention that I'm not leaving Teams. So what this means is that I am working in this document. In the very next hour, I have another class. The only thing I have to do is 2 clicks away. I mean, my next class is 2 clicks away from where I am right now. But it's a super powerful. It helps our students to get focused on task and not get lost on different applications. This is a regular text. This is a regular Word document. But Word, also free for every school, they have their own online app. And this is the online app of Word integrated within Teams. So I can start working, I can start editing my document. And even if a member of my class, and I created these different environments, more dark and more bright to differentiate, this is a student. If a student wants to start collaborating with me in the document, the only thing she in this case needs to do is just enter in the class, locate the document we're working together, and start working easily and without any other software required. Working in every browser, working in every computer. Okay, so I'm going to show you quickly how it's done, but it is super easy. The only thing they have to do is just click on the document and start editing together with the fellow students or with the teacher. Okay, so let's going to get back to the teacher view. Okay, here we go. I have here the Machu Picchu thing, and the student is going to start working on that. But let's going to go back here in the document. Here is a regular document, and sometimes we believe that, well, Word is super powerful, the offline version, but the online version is a regular text editor that like other ones. But most of the powerful tools that Word has offline they're also happening online. Here we go. You see Kara that's already here. I know it's Ella in this case, it's a student, it's in this document, and she can start working with me. So I was saying how powerful is Word. I don't want to spend some time here talking about Word, but let me highlight a couple of tools. First of all is this one called Editor. If I click here, the grammar correction has been evolved since since we are thinking of this tool as just a grammar correction tool. Now the editor checks a lot of stuff like spelling, grammar, acronyms, clarity, conciseness, formality, inclusiveness, a lot of points, a lot of bullets that also can give you an editor score. So for example, we're talking about clarity or conciseness in my document. Word is analyzing that maybe I can change some text in my document that be more concise in order to say, in order to give tourists, it's more correct to use concise language and say to. Or if we're talking about clarity, located, well, it's easy to say fluid. Okay, so this is integrated in our Word Online for free and for everybody. But another thing, and Vania was talking about that, is inclusiveness. Our motto is like empowering every student to achieve more. And when we say every, even if have any learning disabilities or any learning special needs. So in all of our products, we have what we call Immersive Reader. Immersive Reader is a tool that, free for everybody, removes any visual distractions of a document, of a conversation in Teams, or even a OneNote page, and only focus on text. So now you will see that everything is completely removed. I am focused on text. I can even read aloud, and I can personalize this view easily in the browser to make it more accessible for me. If I want more contrast, if I want to make it bigger, the only thing I have to do is click here. Even I have some grammar options, so I can highlight verbs, highlight nouns, highlight adjectives, and even change the color if I need it. I can separate in syllabus, and also a very good tool is what we call the Picture Dictionary. Picture Dictionary is a tool that I can just, for example, click on a word inside my document, for example, emperor, and I can read it out loud, or even in certain words, for example, let's see mountain here, I can even picture it. So for people with learning disabilities, with people with foreign language, I can easily help them to understand the text. Of course, the text can be translated automatically in any language. For example, it's going to go Catalan, and I can translate by word. So I have the differences here, or even translate the whole document. Everything without, you see here, now the document is completely translated, and I can back to the original. And this is integrated in all our products. And I'm only talking about the part of the documents. And let me show you just one thing, which is like all the big cloud providers can be integrated here. We are not here to be the unique player. So if you have your work in other cloud storage, you can easily integrate it. Teams is not here to remove everybody, it's here to integrate everybody. Okay, a bit faster now because I'm taking too much time. The second part, or the third part I want to show you is the class notebook. Class notebook is a OneNote integrated in Teams. I don't know if you're aware of OneNote, but OneNote is a blank canvas. But not only blank canvas, but also a space for my students to work. Let me set up it for you super quickly and start from scratch. I'm going to create a collaboration space, somewhere where students and teachers can collaborate. I'm going to create a content library, somewhere where a teacher can edit and the students can only view. But also, I'm going to create a notebook for each one of my students, which means that I can have a virtual notebook for all my students and work with them and assess them and send them assignments and work with them on real time. But with the good things, I can personalize this. I'm going to create it right now. With the good thing that the teacher can see everybody's notebook. and the student can only see their own notebook. It's like taking the physical notebooks with me, even that I'm 40 or 50 students in my class, and I can, as I said, correct, I can work with them, all virtual or in the cloud, and the students can work actively in my classroom. Normally, the online platforms are a place to consume, but we really believe that they are also a place to create. So with these 3 simple clicks, we're going to create a whole environment for my students to produce. Also, as you know, OneNote is free for everybody to download in every operating system. So it can work offline. So the power of OneNote is that you have the whole environment, not only for consumption, but also for creation. Of course, and we will get back to this. Of course, I can create assignments. I can easily assign tasks to my students, correct tasks, and even assess the task and give grades, and also work with the rubrics. I don't know if I can take a look at this, but you see, well, these are the typical tasks that my students need to do. I see here if they are turning it in, or they have already turned it in or not, and I can grade them, I can give them feedback. And the good thing is that I can easily, without leaving the environment, correct what they're doing, enter feedback, enter points. If I need to go to the next one, the only thing I have to do is open this and go and see the work of my student. And everything is stored in the cloud, which means that I don't see the beginning and the end of the work. I can see the process. So I can see Sandy, the whole history that she has done in the document. So I can go together with her in the process of creation of an assignment. And everything, it is stored here in Teams. So I can have a gradebook where in one single place, I can have the view of all my students with the different tasks, the different assignments, and everything that they have done in one single place. So I can export it to Excel, and I will have the view of my students and the tasks or assignments I have assigned to them. And this is what is coming with the classroom. But also Teams is full of apps, and not only Microsoft apps, but also apps from other vendors. Vania mentioned it, Moodle, Schoology, Canvas. We integrate Moodle or other apps, so we allow everybody to be part of our classroom, so our students, they don't need to leave the environment to keep learning. It's a super easy way. If you want to add a YouTube video, you know how dangerous could be just sending a link of YouTube, because you can get lost easily on YouTube. So what I'm gonna go here is just click on YouTube, add a video to my class, and then automatically I will see a search box where I can search directly in YouTube. And as I told you, this is not a Microsoft product, but it is completely integrated in Teams. So you can just make a search in YouTube itself. And when I find a video I want to share, save it. And right now it is shared with all my students. So my students can see in real time the video I just shared with them, that I can edit, remove, add as many times as I want without leaving the environment. So the powerful features of Teams are allowing me to really behave as a learning hub, where not only the Microsoft products are there, but every single vendor or learning app that wants to be integrated can be integrated. Let me start like wrapping up with the last part. And we love talking about data. And we have a very interesting app that is called Insights that can be integrated for free in our teams. That is going to provide the teacher actionable data, insights, and views. What it means? It means that by adding this, only the teachers in the team can have access to every single task that my students has performed in my channel. The minutes they have spent in the meetings, the conversations they have been involved in, the time they spend on average on returning the task I assigned to them. So whatever the action my students have taken into my teams are reflected here. So if I need to speak with the parents, if I need to report to my principal what is the status of the work they have done in my classroom, Insights is there working for you. So the only thing you need to do, you see here, is that I have the view of today's work. Okay, yeah, I need to do assignments first. But well, the thing is that this dashboard will start compelling data from different points, okay? And the last thing I want to say is that Teams is not only the work we have done in Teams, it's also a chat that I can have with my fellow students or with other teachers, as I said, in a professional mode, not using any other tools that compromise your privacy or your personal phones or whatever. Also, I have a view of all the assignments I've been assigned to, so I can easily view what is due today or where are the next assignments I have to do. I have the view of my calendar when I will see all the meetings I'm invited to, and I can also create new meetings automatically, like this one. I can have my calls, so I can make calls, and also my files. So as you see, and I'm wrapping up now, the good thing about Teams is that, one, I have everything I need in one single place, that I can jump from one place to another in a matter of a click. And then I will have every tool I need, no matter if it's Microsoft owned or it's a third-party application, in one single place. So we can optimize the time of my students when in task, and also save some distractions that the digital world sometimes can bring into the classroom. Sorry for being so quick, but I think we have had the time to have a nice view and a super open to answer any question.
Okay, thank you so much, Vania and Ovi. We really appreciate you coming and sharing this information with us. At this point, I am going to pass this over to Beatriz Oliveira, our BindTuning CEO.
Thank you, Vania. Thank you, Ovi, for such a great overview of the investments Microsoft has been doing in Microsoft Teams. So we're certainly very excited about the road ahead. And talking a little bit about the situation that we have been living. COVID has certainly been a catalyst for change. And schools have definitely accelerated the process to digital collaboration. But we know that there are still challenges to overcome, and we are here, BindTuning, to address some of those challenges. And that is what I would like to start by talking to you about. First and foremost, how can we ensure that there are no more disruptions in learning, regardless of what the next school year brings? So either if you are starting the next school year fully remote, if you are starting in a hybrid learning mode, or completely in person, we have to ensure that education must keep moving. Secondly, we need to be able to replicate human interactions. And this goes way beyond classes and assignments and grades. And today, quickly, I will try to show you how to support not only the classroom, but also communication with parents, peer-to-peer collaboration amongst teachers, as well as continued activity for school clubs and sports teams. And finally, we will address how to ensure that all this occurs in the necessary time frame, reaching everyone in your school, regardless of their technical knowledge. So let us quickly jump into a demo. So this is my Teams for Education demo environment. So this is not a real environment, and it's a demo tenant. And here I have 5 teams set up for these 5 environments that I just mentioned. So students, and this is the classroom. Then we have a parents team to engage the parents associated to that particular classroom. Then I have a teachers team where all the teachers for the classroom also collaborate. I have a club team, and this relates to the chess club, the math club, astronomy club, whatever clubs you have in your school, and also a sports team that in this case, it's a swimming sports team, but it could be supporting any type of sports as you have in your school. So let me start with the classroom. And this is no more than what you have seen from Ovi's presentation as a basis. So this is also based on the classroom type of team. So you see here that I also have the class notebook. I also have assignments and grades, but we have a couple different channels that are set up here to provide some additional information. And these areas here, they have been set up with some BindTuning products to be able to display some rich information to your class and to your students. Let me start by showing the Learning Apps section, where teachers can share with the students additional assets and additional informations where they can grab more learning tools for their daily work. And all of these areas are customizable by the teachers. So in this case, I have different apps where students can get information from. And note that the classroom team, when we're talking about lower grades, like probably until the 4th grade, you can have one team for the entire class. But when we're talking about grades beyond the 5th grade, probably you will have separate teams per subject. So you would have a math team, you would have a science team, you would have a history team, and so on. And basically, each teacher for the subject would control the type of information that they share in these areas. We also set up an area for teachers to share external websites, and this can easily be set up as a list of quick links to external assets that the teacher wants to provide to their students. And we also have a video section. And in this case of this video section, this is just not one single video. So this is a slider of videos that can be set up to provide multiple videos at the same time. And not only videos that lie in YouTube, but in many different video sources. So either you have them on YouTube, on Vimeo, or other providers, you can provide those videos to your students inside a scenario like this. Then we have the classroom. So basically the classroom is where we want the social interactions to occur, regardless of the students being in person or completely remote. And in a situation where kids are remote, there is this need for social interaction to show the other colleagues what's happening in their houses, how they're doing, for example, remote learning. And this is a place where kids can share more about their day-to-day life and promote more social interactions. If the class has a social media page, it can also be shared within Microsoft Teams. So in this case, we're showing a Facebook page, but this could be something like an Instagram page or a LinkedIn page, for example. There is an area where all the students can be displayed. And here, so this is just a demo tenant. I don't have the photos, but depending on your internal school policies, you could be displaying all the photos for the students or not. Same goes for the teachers, having a list of all the teachers in the class. And basically it's a list like the previous one, and also an area that we think it's interesting for in case you have some activities going on and you need to know what the weather is going to look like in the area. There is a section for you to set up the weather for your local area. And all these assets are supposed to provide more engagement, more tools, not only to the teacher, but also to the students beyond what comes out of the box in Microsoft Teams. Then an area, and me as a parent, I can tell you that since everyone has been working remote, I feel that there has been some disconnection with the school. And with this parents team, what we want to do is provide parents also a communication tool, not only with the school, with the teachers, but amongst themselves. And we have set up different tabs in this team. So there is a section for a video to be provided to the parents. And this can be either a message from the school, a message from the director of the school, from a particular teacher. So it can be a positive message, but there are also different sections. For example, a contacts area, which we believe right now it's super important because many times parents don't really know who to reach in a situation like this, where we are either remote or on a hybrid mode. So many times we don't know who to reach to. If there is an email we can get in touch with, a phone number we can call. So this is an area for you to set up with all the contact information for your school. There is also an area for parents where all the planned activities can be displayed for parents. And note that this is different from Microsoft Teams calendar because these calendars, they are able to display events that are located in different internal calendars in Office 365. So this can be displaying events that lie on the class calendar, others that are embedded within a school calendar. For example, the national exams for a particular year or grade, they can also be being pulled from a different calendar, and other type of activities can also be displayed from different calendars. So the way you set up these calendars allow parents to access information that comes from different locations. We also set up an area for alerts. And this is super important because many times it is very useful to have very direct information about something that is important and that parents have to see. And although you can put some alerts within the chat feed, when people start talking and chatting, many times those announcements, they get kind of lost in the feed. So it's important to have a place where parents can go and check if there are important things they have to be aware of. And we also set up another area, and this is also interesting in scenarios where we are already in person back in school, where teachers can share, for example, flyers or posters to activities that will happen within the school. There is also a teachers team, and I'll just go briefly through this one. And the teachers team has also an area to display the students within the class, teachers, and a calendar that is shared amongst the teachers. So it's a different type of calendar. And this particular type of team, it can be and it should be adjusted to your school's teaching methodologies. And basically, for example, within this area where we are focusing on the class materials or the class evaluation and grades, this area where we access file information, it's also different from what you have within files. Within Microsoft Teams, when you access files, you are accessing one single location of files, but we have realized that many times it is important to we have to be able to provide access to files that are located in different accounts, in different areas inside Office 365. And for example, we can have situations where teachers, when providing and working, collaborating for the same class, they need to be able to provide access, for example, the math teacher to some documents of his own, the history teachers to some documents that are lying within its Office 365 area. So something like our documents application allows you to, with a more powerful query method, grab documents that lie in different locations and provide access to all the teachers within the same classroom to documents that come from different places. Then let me quickly jump to the club team. And I know that we are on top of the hour, so I'll try to be brief. Club teams are meant to support the activity of clubs, and this is an example of a chess club. And a team like this can help you not only in remote learning or in a remote scenario, but also when we are all back in school, because we know that most of the times these clubs don't really have digital collaboration tools that allows them to go a little bit beyond what happens in the school. So an area like this can provide, for example, the latest news. It can provide everyone access to who are the members in the club, and this can be updated ongoing because all this information is coming from the Azure AD. It can have informational data regarding the activity itself. So if we're talking about chess, we can be sharing, for example, top moments with amazing games that happened in the past and share those videos, or we can have a section with useful links for people that are starting to play chess or to interesting different puzzles or the history of chess and so on. And even inside teams, we are able to provide sections, for example, like this one, where we have sort of FAQ style area where new members can grab information about different topics. And we can also share information regarding the competitions for the club. And here we have the possibility, for example, to provide photos from the latest competitions, and this can also be organized in folders. We can have a calendar to display the upcoming events and activities, and for example, a section for the club organizers to share the latest awards that have been won. And lastly, the sports team that can support the activities of all your sports teams within your school. Here we can provide access to different types of information. For example, namely regarding competitions, regarding practices, and also regarding the team. And in this case, regarding the competitions, we set this up to provide the schedule for the upcoming competitions, access to documents on all the statistics for the competitions the team has been participating on, an area for the organizers to be able to share photos from the last competitions. And this can be also organized, for example, by year or by different types of tournaments. So there's a lot of flexibility here to provide access to different types of information. For the practices, you can also share kind of the structure of your practice groups so that kids know which groups they participate in. There's also the ability to share very rich map information inside teams. Let's say that you have different locations where the practices occur and you want to share that information. It's also easy to put it in a team like this. Or, for example, also share information like what is the schedule for practices so that everyone is on the same page all the time. And basically, all these teams are kind of available for you today for deployment as templates for Microsoft Teams. And basically, each template is no more than one pre-packaged team with all the channels, all the tabs, all the content as demoed in this session. Templates automatically deploy to teams, allowing for the easy creation of multiple teams at scale. And this is especially useful in the start of every new school year. So we understand that every new school year, you would have to go to Microsoft Teams and set up a new team for every single class. And most likely you have a very specific structure you would like to deploy. So standardizing these deployments and making them completely automated definitely sets up a lot of governance on top of Teams and makes it easier for your IT admins to be able to deploy these teams in a timely manner. So after deployment, all these teams can be adjusted to your school's very specific way to work. We know that each school is different from the other, so you can change settings, you can remove or add functionality. And finally, we do support the creation of custom templates. So if you would like to be able to create these custom scenarios and automatically deploy them to teams, we can help you. We can help you get started. And we, as Lily said in the beginning, we have a very extensive network of partners worldwide, over 100 partners that can also work in collaboration with us to help you get all these in practice. So let me just quickly show you how to get started in BindTuning to install these templates. So basically the only thing you have to do is go to BindTuning.com, click Get Started to get your BindTuning account. You will be taken to the BindTuning application. And basically here in the start option, you have all our templates available. In the case of K-12 scenarios, you only have to type K-12. It will filter by the templates that I just showed you today. So the classroom for students, for teachers, for parents, sports teams, and club teams. And basically by selecting one of these templates, it's as easy as clicking one-click install, and from here you only have to log into Office 365, name your team, and basically you're done to start installation. It's as simple as this. Let me just finally leave you with one link. So if you want to connect with us, if you would like to know more about our solutions for Microsoft Teams for Education, please do go to bindtuning.com/education. You will have their options to get in touch with us, and you will also have a link, a direct link to all the templates that we showed you here today. Okay, and with this said, Lily, I think that we don't really have a lot of time for a Q&A, but I don't know if someone is in line and would like to submit a question, we can be available for a couple minutes.
We do have some questions, Beatrice, so I think we'll take them here. There's just 4. So the first one, these tabs look very cool. It would be nice to know how to set them up.
Okay, so I think that I kind of answered that question. Okay. So basically going to BindTuning.com, clicking Get Started, you will have to create a BindTuning account. Once you get to the application, you go to the Starter Kits area. And as I said, it's super simple. It's important to have in mind that you have to be a tenant administrator to make these deployments. So if you are not, make sure to ask your IT admin in your school to do this. If you do have a Microsoft Teams demo tenant, you can also do it. So installation is super simple. Either you are doing it on a demo tenant, or if you are asking your IT admin to do it.
I skipped one. I hadn't scrolled all the way up. Can you share the code to add that classroom to our Teams? And I think you already answered that, Beatrice. You just need to log into BindTuning.com and you'll have access to all of the K-12 teams available to you right then and there for trying.
Correct.
The last one, I think that's 4, yes. Will our IT department have to add the parent emails to Microsoft Teams for parents to have access?
Correct. Yes, that is true. So basically, you have to set them up in the Azure AD, and you can have parents either with external access, or if parents do have an Office 365 account provided by the school, they will automatically be associated to the classroom. If not, if the school does not have Office 365 accounts for the parents, then you can invite parents as external users to Microsoft Teams and add them to a parents team like that.
Okay, and then the last comment we just got is please send this video. And I actually got a few comments from other attendees that had to jump off to send the video. No worries, we will email you the video, and we'll also probably add it as a link on the BindTuning.com education page. So all of this information is going to be readily available to you. One thing that Beatrice, I don't know that you mentioned, is the free Teams assessment. So if you go to the education page that we referred to, you can actually sign up for a free Teams assessment. Somebody from our team will contact you, talk about your requirements, and walk you through potential scenarios that would address some of the things that you're looking to address with Microsoft Teams. And so with that, I want to thank everybody for attending, for sticking with us. Want to thank Vania Neto and for Ovi Barcelo for joining us. That was amazing. And Beatrice, thank you again for giving us an overview. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us, but we'll send everything your way. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.